What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the channel if you're new. I'm just trying to keep this real simple. It's not gonna be too long. Don't want to hold up your time. Thanks for coming to watch. Um, we're gonna get right into it though. But I think I wouldn't really say problems, but I guess they are kind of problems with World versus World, or just PvP in general. Because World versus World is PvP. It's PvP and PvE, a little bit of both. So I would say that alliances, I don't think they'll get enough data with alliances because there's more issues stemming from just player population. Player population is a big issue because it feels like a lot of times you're getting overwhelmed. So right now I'm playing, the beta alliances, whatever. And I'm on Griffin Fall. So as you can see, we getting outnumbered still, getting demolished. One server has 1,200. We are last place at 400. But our server is a fight server. Okay, so that means we have players that can stand their ground and fight and such like that. But we don't win the matchups because they're mainly doing the PvE and they being the other servers, like they're doing the cap and the towers and such like that. So a lot of our kills, like we have a high kill death ratio, but we aren't winning because we don't have players online at all of the times and coverage and stuff. And that just happens in the game mode. So that's always going to happen. You're going to have player population issues. So I don't know if they can completely solve that, but it does feel like when I'm playing World versus World, it does feel like there's more people out and about running around and fighting and doing such. So that I do applaud them for at least trying to make effort to somewhat balance World vs. World. But the main issues that I would say with World vs. World is that the Borderlands, they feel outdated. And what I mean by that is that like the War Claw, for example, the War Claw is way too fast, and the Borderland size doesn't compensate for that. So for example, the desert Borderland is extremely huge, vertically and horizontally. Like the map is very big. So Warclaw makes sense in the desert Borderland. When you go to Alpine Borderlands, you don't get that same structure, and it feels like a lot of the times the fights will go on either forever or they what I'm trying to say is basically like the players will suicide, right? That's their tactic. There's no penalty for losing in World vs. World. There's no risk at all. So you could die 1,000 deaths and it doesn't mean anything. Your reward will still be the same. There's no like reward or penalty for dying or getting kills other than KDR and feeling good about yourself and stuff like that. But it's not like if I get more kills than somebody else who doesn't get a lot of kills, that doesn't mean anything because okay, well the war score will go up if they get a kill. That's like 1 point. But like I said, I'm on a fight server, so we'll get a whole bunch of kills, but it don't mean anything to the overall score. So when I was going up against Maguma, what they would do is like their server, they have a lot of people out and about at like all time of the day. Like they have coverage at all times. And it's really hard to balance that out because, different time zones and everything. But not even just player population, their tactic would be suiciding. You would kill like 10, 20 of them and they would just run back out instantly because they have the War Claw. And the War Claw is so fast and the Borderlands are so small that they could just come back out after being killed. There's no penalty. Like, for example, if I were to die in PvP, I gotta wait at least like 10 seconds to come back out. Now, what I would suggest is that they would add a like a War Claw death penalty or something, right? So as soon as you die and you waypoint back, you can't mount up for at least like 10 or 15 seconds, something like that. The reason I'm saying that is because, like I said, the players with suicide. So they like, say if they're like trying to defend home tower, right? As soon as they die, they just mount up and run back. And the time to run back is shortened because the War Claw is so fast and the War Claw has 2 leaps. So the time to run back If they were running on foot, the time to run back would probably be like 20 seconds. You have a wall claw with 2 leaps, the time to run back will probably be like 10 seconds. So there's no penalty for players suiciding and just running back constantly, and the fights feel like they just going on infinitely. So one of the issues with World vs. World is that Wall Claw reduces that time for people to run back after they die or lose. There's no penalty for losing. There's no rewards for winning or getting more kills. The Borderlands are too small. The Borderlands are stuck in time as well. They're stuck in 2012. They haven't been updated since then. The only thing that's been added new to the game has been the Desert Borderland. And if any of you were there at the time when they first released it, when Heart of Thorns came out, they had walls, and you had to knock down, you had to destroy the walls, and you basically couldn't solo roam on that because the walls would prevent you from traversing through the Borderland. And the walls had like 50,000 health. Like, you'd be sitting there trying to knock down this wall for like 10 minutes, and the walls were unaffected by Condi damage. So if you were playing a Condi build, you definitely wasn't getting through that wall. And I think at the time the walls didn't have any crit, so you couldn't crit the wall either. It just went off like base damage. I think they should remove a lot of the PvE elements from World vs. World 2, such as like the Dreads turret. Like, the Dreads turret would shoot you and daze you. It's unblockable daze, by the way. It would daze you for about 3 seconds. So you'll be fighting and then just randomly get hit by a Dreads turret. Now, I know people come for the PvE. They like to do their dailies. They come in there, do their dailies real quick and log out. But when you're in the internal battlegrounds, you fight in small scale fights, and you just get hit by a Dreads turret. It could be really annoying. A lot of the Borderlands as well, especially on Alpine Borderlands, they have like these areas that have like little puddles, and sometimes you could be running on the Borderland and just get stuck in a puddle, and you'll be in your underwater skills. So I'm gonna go show you real quick what I'm talking about. They should revamp the rally system in World vs. World. I mean, they did it like a few years ago where only like one person could rally off a down instead of like 10 people rallying off of one guy. So it's only like 1 for 1. So it's not like, you know, you fighting in the Zerg fight and you down 20 people and then they rally off of one person. Like that was ridiculous and crazy. But I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about when I say the little puddles. It's further south of the map. I'm gonna go there real quick. What was another thing with World vs. World? I think that they should revamp the downstate skills. For example, like the Phantasm on the illusionary clone on Mesmer. That thing can hit about like 10-20k. You can't see it half the times, and they'll teleport like right behind you and hit you in the back. I'm like, the guy's already down. I should win this fight. I shouldn't have to deal another 30k damage to somebody who's already in downstate. So they should either revamp all of the damage skills. Like, for example, Engineer, they have this skill called Booby Trap. That's their little second downstate skill. Booby Trap hit me for 10,000, between 10,000 to 15,000 on the downstate skill. Remind you, they nerfed all of the CC damage skills, right? All of my CC skills like World Charge is hitting 6 damage. But underwater skills, they still hit their usual damage, and their CC skills and downstate skills still hit extremely hard. Let me show you, for example. Barred Pull. You see that? That says 874. It doesn't even have the, it's not even updated on the tooltip. It should say pull, and it should say, you know, my damage. But I've hit people with this skill for at least like 5,000, 6,000. But that's a CC skill. This is underwater. That's CC. What's another skill? This hits repeating shot. That says it hits 4 times, and it said 2,000 for full hit. That's a CC skill, and it knocks people back. So if they're going to revamp, you know, and actually balance all of the skills and stuff, they should look at underwater skills and downstate skills as well, because they are included in the game. So here is an example of what I mean by the puddle of water that you can get trapped under. You can't see it because of the reflection and the graphics and everything, but I know, like right here, you see how I'm in the water right now, right? I'm swimming. I'm in swimming animation. If I were to get immobilized, I can't use any of my skills because I'm on top of the surface of the water. I can't clear that immobilize. I can't do anything. I'm literally underwater right now. Why is there a puddle of water right here that I can just get, you know, CC'd on and be in my underwater skills? So they should allow you to use your skills while you're on top of the surface of water. Here's another puddle over here where you can get trapped in. This doesn't happen often, but the fact that it's in the game and can happen at all is really annoying. There's a few puddles like this in the game, and sometimes, you know, if you're in a fight and you aren't paying attention, you can get killed. If you aren't careful. Not a lot of players know about that. They need to revamp the rally system. People can still rally off of NPCs like the bracket scale. If I were to die underwater and I was fighting that bracket scale, I would be able to rally off of that. So they need to remove rallies from NPCs. The Oak Heart Vines in Eternal Battlegrounds, you can still rally off of them, even though they aren't technically enemies that hurt you. It's just the vine that traps you and immobilizes you. People can still rally off of it. It's very rare because it's, you know, nobody's really gonna be fighting near it. But the fact that it can happen at all is the problem. The Borderland, there isn't much going on. A lot of the hills, it just seems outdated. So if they're gonna do something with alliances, what they need to do is revamp the Borderlands, bring it up to date, make it feel refreshed, make it feel new. If you're gonna try to bring in new players, make the game feel new. Don't have a game mode that feels and looks 10 years old and people still fighting on the, like, I would love to have a new Borderland or something added new to the Borderlands that would introduce new players to the game mode. What they don't do with World vs. World as well is they don't explain objectives very well. You just come in here and you basically gotta either learn by playing or learn from other players. They need to either add like a backstory or some explanation of why this war is going on. Why are we fighting? What's the point of us fighting? What is the point of any of this? I don't know. There's probably something on the wiki that explains all of this, but it doesn't do a good job at explaining it when you first come here. It's just like, oh, you open the World vs. World menu and it just says Miss War. And it's just, you go there and you're fighting with another server and you're fighting against another server. It's like, okay, but why are we fighting? What is our purpose? Why are we here? Why are we taking towers? Why are we protecting ruins? Why are we, you know, fighting for castles and camps and all of this? There's no real backstory. And I think if they're really gonna, you know, go all in for alliances and whatever, they should include a backstory and more explanation of how the game mode is played, what siege means, like, you know, supply for siege. They should have like a little mini tutorial for new players. I don't think Guild Wars does a good enough job explaining things like combo fields and you know, just combos in general. A lot of the stuff is explained through the players, like setting up combos or just the game modes in general. What's another thing that's wrong with World vs. World? Other than the size, the war claw, population issues. I think they did a really good job because playing other games, you notice that Guild Wars 2, I'm not trying to bash Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 get a lot of things right, but I think they can improve on it. And just simple improvements, stuff that's like common sense, like should already be in the game, like tutorials. Like a tutorial needs to be in games. They need to explain to the player how to play the game, how to unlock things. A lot of people, like I say, a lot of the things in World vs. World, you gotta come and you gotta learn just by being here. And not a lot of people play games that much and have that much time to try to learn everything as well. Like a lot of the things take time to learn. So we got into Downstate, we got into the size of the Borderland. I think they need to revamp the damage on Downstate. I think they need to either remove the invulnerability on Downstate like they did with PvP, or balance all of the health. So health in Downstate should not be affected by vitality. So if I'm running a tank build, I shouldn't have 50,000 Downstate health. I should have a baseline Downstate health of like at least like 10,000 or 15,000, something like that. So you aren't dying instantly, but at the same time you aren't, your stats don't scale with other, you know, stats. I think they should either revamp certain builds like minstrels and celestial, because those stats in World vs. World can be cumbersome or abused a bit because they're just so tanky. The reason they removed that kind of stuff from PvP is because players were abusing that. They were too tanky, couldn't kill them. The fights would go on way too long. Since that February 2020 patch, when they basically nerfed all of the power coefficients for all the power builds, it made it really difficult to fight a tank class by itself. Now I got a tank build that I've been running around, and basically, like, if you're not running a 20-man group, you basically can't kill me. I'm just running around and being unstoppable. Nobody's able to kill me. Like, look how much health I have. I have 35,000 HP. I have 3,300 toughness, and I know how to play, so that could also be a factor. And not just saying like, oh, these players are just abusing stats, but because you still need to know how to play, of course. But at the same time, it's like, if that player knows how to play and abuse the stats, you basically can't do anything to them. And I think it shouldn't be like that. I believe that there should be some counterplay to it. There should be a way that if I'm skilled enough, I should be able to, you know, take this person out. Not saying that it's going to be easy, but it shouldn't be too difficult. It shouldn't be taking me 10-20 minutes to finish one person off, and the fight's going on for way too long. Since the February 2020 patch, Guild Wars 2 for a long time, the fights would last like 10-20 seconds, and that was normal. People were used to that. Now fights, they go on 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They last them way too long, and the game is based on cooldowns. And when you fighting that long, eventually somebody else is gonna come outside and, you know, start fighting you. So you're in the fight too long, and it's taking too long to finish them off. So the size of the Borderlands, War Claw. There's no death penalty. There's no good reward system. And I know, like I said, this is beta, so they're looking into all of that stuff. So hopefully, when they do look into like the population issue, they also look at the rewarding system. They look at the War Claw. They look at just multiple different issues that exist in World vs. World, and not, you know, just with population. I think they need to add tutorials. They need to revamp the Borderlands, make them feel refreshed, make them feel brand new, make them feel up to date with the game as well. Like, we have so much going on with the Elder Dragons and stuff. I think if they added some of that lore to World vs. World, like the PvE lore, like, you know, Arene and stuff like that, that would really introduce a lot of different players. You probably not even good at PvP. You probably just come here because the lore was so good and nice that you would come. Like, for example, in the Elder Scrolls, they have the Elder Scrolls actually at like some of the towers in that game. I forgot what they're called, but you can actually like see the Elder Scroll like floating around, and you can grab it, and that's like a capture the flag kind of thing. So they can add like another type of game mode to World vs. World, like a capture the flag, instead of just, you know, sitting on point, King of the Hill kind of game style, fighting in open field. I think they need to add like more variety, like a forest area, maybe like over here, add some more trees, line of sight. They can add like a volcano area, add like more rain and weather effects. They could do a lot more than what they're doing now, and right now it just feels like, you know, the game mode is outdated. They're only more focused on PvE because that makes them the most money. But if you think about it, if they updated this and added more things to the cash shop or the gem store that incentivize people to come to World vs. World, they can make money off of World vs. World and not just, you know, cosmetics. But I don't know, that's just what I think. So what do y'all guys think? You know, if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. Let me know what y'all think, and I'll see y'all then. Peace.